Hey everyone, welcome back to the tax show for people who owe. I'm Dave.
And I'm Phil.
And today we're talking about some people who may not owe. Right, Phil?
Right.
How do you find your refund? And the reason why we thought this is relevant is because there's many folks we represent that have tax balances or owe for certain years, but are due refunds for other years, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we're getting a lot of questions about refunds, especially in today's climate with the IRS, where they're wondering how they can get to the refund and why it's delayed, more importantly. So Phil, what are some of the tips we have for taxpayers who are looking for the refund?
Rather than a tip, I would start with the question is, did you file?
I'm not surprised you would ask me a question, and the answer is, well, good response. Yes, I did file, so I'm looking for my refund.
Great. And the next question is, how did you file, right? We talked about this in previous episode. Mailing is definitely going to add some time into the processing of your return and therefore the processing of your refund.
So you mean specifically mailing, you mean paper returns, and
returns.
Signing it, sending it in,
Yep.
versus filing electronically or e-filing.
Correct.
Okay, so I think our viewers would know it's pretty obvious that a paper return is going to take longer to review and process and open the mail versus the e-filing option, which is more digitized. Now, what are some of the things that could delay both lanes?
That's a great question, David. The main culprit, right, even in today's climate and any climate, is going to be errors on the returns.
Errors, right. So specifically, unpack some of the errors they might see that flag for additional reviews.
Yeah, so the top errors, I would say, deal with the refund recovery credit,
Okay.
as well as the child tax credit, or any refundable credit, such as EITC, which is the Earned Income Tax Credit.
And what is the IRS looking for here?
Maybe dependents that are claimed more than one time. They even look out for identity theft issues, so sometimes they might flag your return as for possible identity theft to protect you as a taxpayer, but that will delay the issuance of your refund.
So if your refund is delayed, what are some of the tools available that are for taxpayers to find out where it's at in this review process? Are there any?
Yeah, there's a great resource at irs.gov, and that is your IRS account, taxpayer account. That will allow you to check up on your refund, the status of your return, whether it's been received, processing, or it's being reviewed.
So it will tell us one of those three things.
Right.
Will it give me any time indicator as to when I can expect some sort of solution?
It's gonna give you rough indicators, and that's the best we're gonna get, but typically you'll see about a turnaround time of 21 days if everything's good.
Okay.
But realistically speaking today, this year, we're looking at 90 to up to 120 days.
Yeah, we're experiencing some of the longest delays and lowest service levels we've ever seen from the IRS in our entire existence.
Right.
So what are some of the other tools? If I don't have an IRS online account, what can I do as a taxpayer to get status, Phil?
I highly recommend it, but you could call in, and actually calling in is not recommended by the IRS.
Now, if I file, maybe I could go and file a digital return after submitting my physical return, my paper return. Will that help?
It could help, especially if the paper return's in transit, but again, they don't recommend refiling your return.
Got it.
Kind of letting first come, first serve, first in, first out, letting the returns process as normal.
That sounds like making a bad situation worse.
Correct.
Right? Okay. Now, Phil, there is a taxpayer advocate out there to help any taxpayer, and actually professionals, who are having difficulty interacting with the IRS. Is that an option now for a refund?
It was, but given the current climate, there's a lot of people that need help. So requests about delayed refunds are actually outside of the scope for the time being, while the Taxpayer Advocate Services focus on those with financial hardship, inequities, and some immediate dire needs that other taxpayers do have.
That makes sense. They're prioritizing the most emergency of emergency cases.
Exactly.
Makes total sense to use their resources accordingly. So if you guys are looking for your refund, Phil covered some of the great options for you. Any other suggestions, Phil, before we part?
As usual, do something. I know you may be anxious about where your return is, where your refund is, and I'm sure you're relying on your refund, but patience is key, but taking action is even more key.
So whether you owe the IRS or they owe you, you can always reach out to Optima for help for any post-filing tax issue. So download our app, request help, and we'll get to you that money that you're owed. And that's it for today, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Hey everyone, thank you for watching today. Please be sure to like
And subscribe.
so you are up to date with all the information you need when you're taking on the IRS.
And as always, do something.